Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the live stream of No Place Like, the JavaScript open source platformer shooter adventure game that we've been developing since early January. Tonight's stream will continue on creating our first NPC character, and that, I think, will probably get us through the entire stream. We'll find out if we get stuck or if we finish our NPC quickly. Then who knows, we'll move on to some new issues and tackle the news of the day. So let's join me. Let's just start. So welcome to my screen. Welcome to my world. This wonderful playlist by NCS, aka No Copyright Sound, which allows me to close my window? That's weird. Which allows me to... There's music that I'm allowed to use on my live stream and not be penalized for using copyrighted music, blah, blah, blah. It's a very wonderful, wonderful thing that they're doing, and I support them wholeheartedly. It ain't half bad either. It's pretty decent music. As I put on my headphone and then it's kind of a sketch song. Just kidding. This song's good. I like it. Welcome viewer, welcome. We're just getting started here. We're going to be doing some development of No Place Like, the open source JavaScript platformer, blah, blah, blah. I just did the spiel. Maybe you saw that, maybe you didn't. Anyways, let's get on with it, shall we? So just take a look at what branch we're on, Okay, so we've got a branch for our NPC already. Let's check our status, make sure... Okay, so the only thing we have is our sprite files for the engineering guy, which we finished drawing it last stream, and we started to rig up with armature and get him prepared to animate. So let's continue on with that, shall we? Ooh. Alright, let's open him up. And here he is. And if we go inside our group, we can see we've already rigged up his right arm and his left arm with a skeleton deformation layer. So if we take a look at his left arm, we've got bones, and we can move those bones and rotate them, and as we do so, his whole arm will bend and rotate. Pretty neat. So we're just going to rig up the rest of his body now. Except for his head. His head can just rotate because we don't need to bend his head at all. I mean, I guess we could put some bones in his beard and make his beard so that could bend. That'd be kind of funny, but have it majestically fluffing around in the wind a little bit. We might do that. That would be kind of funny. But for now, let's do his body next, shall we? His body layer. I'm going to try and save as often as I can because Synfig does, unfortunately, have a little bit of a tendency to crash sometimes, but I think that was just because my machine in the past, I was running 4 gigabytes of RAM, now I've got 8, and that seems to make a huge difference in Synfig's performance and also just the performance of my streams and everything. It's really huge for me. It's great, actually. So, body, and we'll create our new skeletal deformation layer and move it into the body folder. Turn it off for now because, as you can see, it's just messing everything up at the moment. And what's the hotkey for that in this program? Apparently there isn't one. Okay. Well, anyways, we'll hide his left and right arm. So now he's just got a couple stubs. Hide his head for now, and so he just looks like a weird kind of mannequin thing, and we'll hide his crisscross legs. Go to the skeleton deformation layer, and we will give it a starting position, which I think, or actually first, before we do that, let's create the influence area, which will be kind of from about here to here. I don't see the body moving anywhere outside of that range. And we'll give the starting point of the bone about kind of, yeah, I guess his neck, because we're not really going to be bending that because that's kind of hidden by his beard anyways. And get started. So really, I'm only gonna bother with his spine. I'm not gonna really bother with making a shoulder skeletal structure for him, because his arms are what are gonna be moving for that part of the deal. Create bone child, give him a couple vertebrae. Not as many as you and I have in real life, but it'll be enough for our purposes. Like one more, just leave that about there, create bone child. And have that down at the bottom. Oh, I just didn't realize. Okay, make sure my stream tags are all up to date. Anyways, cool. So now with that in place, we can create the influence child, the influence area of each of our bones. So we'll start with this one. Be about something like that. This one can be something like that. This one can be something like that. And the last one can just cover, we need to make sure we cover at least the bottom, and we should be good. So now, we can enable that, squishes our body like crazy, but then we'll reset the pose, turn off those handles, and let's try rotating him, like moving it around a little bit, shall we? So we'll go start here, kind of tweak his hips like as if he were dancing. We can bend him like that, we can bend him like that, and we can bend or rotate his whole thing. That's pretty good. That works pretty well for me. We'll just reset that pose again, make sure it's in its default position, and the body is done. So now, actually I guess we're completely done, because the legs in this case we're not going to bother with animating, because he's just sitting crisscross all the time. And his head, like I mentioned before, we're not going to bother with, because oh no, right, let's add some armature to his beard. That'd be kind of a nice touch, I think. So let's do that, actually. We'll go group layer, and we'll say head in beard. And we'll say create a new layer, distortions, daisies, skeletal deformation. By the way, for those of you who don't know, this program I'm using is called Synfig Studio, and it's a free open source program that is on a pay what you want scale. So if you're in the position to, you're able to pay, you know, you can throw a few, like $10 or $20 or whatever you think the program is worth. But if you're not in the position to, then you're also welcome to just get the program for free, which is at the moment what I did. I do like the idea of going back and paying for it one day, because it is a tremendously helpful program. I'm going to limit this area to just his beard, because we don't want it influencing, we don't want it bending his head at all. This is the first time I've ever actually really dynamically used this this box to sort of like section off areas, so this will be interesting to see if this works. So something like that, and it's only really on the left and right sides that we're expecting it to move anywhere, because his beard will kind of sway, you know? Yeah, so let's see how this works. We might even want to go actually below his lips, because we don't really want to be bending that either, now that I think about it. So now let's just give it, like maybe just 2 bones, I think would be sufficient. So one to rotate the whole head, and then one to bend the beard. Start it around here, and have it going straight down at first, or more or less. Create another bone child. Get that down as close to the bottom as we more or less can. Maybe actually, oopsies. But yeah, Synfig Studio is just a really good 2D animation program, with the exception that, like I said, it does, for some people, it does have a little bit of an issue with crashing at the moment, I find. That's on Linux, and I have tested it on Mac OS as well, and I got similar results. It would occasionally crash when I was live streaming and running like a bazillion things at one time, but generally speaking, it's an excellent program, and it gives you professional grade tools that, you know, you can use for free if you want. Create those influence areas, which is basically just his whole beard. And yeah, like stuff like this, like what I'm doing right now, like armature animation and skeletal deformations and stuff like that for roster images is not something that you can do in a lot of animation software, so it's pretty neat that you can do it in this. Okay, so that just wasted his whole head again, so it is apparently influencing his... Ooh. Ooh, that's not what we want to see. Oh, okay, shoot. Well, looks like we... Yeah, realistically, if I had been planning this ahead... Okay, I'm thinking this might not work after all. Because if I'd planned this ahead, I think that the thing to do would be have his beard be on a separate layer to his head. So I think we might actually have to scratch that idea, unfortunately, because that would be cool, but... yeah, I think that's going to be a no-go on this one, but... Oh, well, we tried. Alright, cool. Anyways, the point is he's now rigged up and ready to animate. So we need to now ask ourselves the question, what animations do we want from this character? He is going to be sitting for the entirety of the game because the way I'm envisioning this guy is he's the engineer who you go out into the world and find scraps and bits of parts and junk, and when you're destroying robots, they sometimes will drop some loot, but the loot is just junk. Bits and pieces of machines, but then you take those bits and pieces of machines, bring them to this guy, and he'll create like new weapons for you out of the whatever junk you bring him. So yeah, I'm thinking for the purposes of our game, this guy's just going to be sitting behind kind of like a low table for the whole game, or the majority of the game, and it's mostly just going to be his arms that are going to be moving. So I think we need like an idle animation for him where he's handling bits of machine, or just like working on something. Now I'm just thinking, what could he be working on? Should we draw like a little like doodad that he could be creating maybe? Or should we just yeah, let's draw like a little doodad that he can be interacting with. Or give him some, yeah, just a doodad. Let's draw a doodad. For that, I will need my tablet, my handy dandy Wacom, cheapest Wacom they make tablet. Alright, let's get her. We don't want a yellow background. We do, in fact, want just a white background will do. Create a new layer, so we have transparency in our layer. Alright. So it can just be like some chunk of machine that he's kind of handling. It doesn't have to be anything special here. Just something with like a pipe sticking out the side perhaps, and a little, I don't know, something like this. Zoom in a little more because this will be a small, or well, let's start it big and scale it down. So still 200%, and maybe 150. Let's go with that. Oh, I totally forgot about that shortcut, that hotkey. Oh my god, that's amazing. Hide all the UI while you're drawing. How great is that? But to do that in GIMP, you just press Tab, and it'll hide all the sidebars, all the UI that you don't need while you're just sketching. Wonderful. tube pipe thing coming out of the top. I swear it's not a bong. It is, in fact, just some alien, not alien, robotic, something that he's messing with. And hello, viewer number 2. Welcome, welcome. Kind of got like a little cutout section of it. Cool, so just he's got a little mystery box device that he's going to be playing with. So this works, something like this. Maybe we'll just give it a couple. We'll lower the size of our brush here, and every time I try and do this with my my pencil, whatever, I always pull that menu or that panel out of its socket. There we go. That's good. So let's zoom it on in. Give them a couple little panels that'll be on the side. And all this fine detail, it's a little messy on my part, but at the same time, it's going to be so far zoomed out in the actual game that like it's going to be hard to tell the little like mess ups I have here and there. So it's kind of a nice out for me. Not out. That's a bad way of saying that, but it's a nice nice something. It's just nice. Takes the pressure off a little bit. I am also going to erase not that, we want 10. And do we need anything more than that, really? I think that's a good enough mystery object for him to be playing around with. Now let's just give it a color layer. Give it some color. Legs color? No, it's box color. And move that below the legs, even though it's definitely not legs. Let's call it just box outline. And all right. Hey JL, how's it going, man? Nice to see you tuned in. How's your day been, good sir? Make it kind of a purpley blue gray. Switch over to HSV because that's my fave. Start with a dark color. Make sure we're on the color layer. Up that to 10. Oopsies. And make this a little bit more, a little lighter. Not too much lighter, about, oops, maybe there. Bucket boom. Ready? 1, 2, 3. That is color on one side. Let's do this other side, but maybe we'll make it a slightly darker tint. Just ever so slightly. Once again, I feel like I'm Bob Ross by narrating what I'm drawing, but he probably, actually nothing probable about it, he did do a far better job than I'm doing, both on the art and the narration. And on the hair. I don't have a lot of hair. Bob Ross had a lot of hair. That was cool. I think I'm gonna grow my hair out again though, a little bit. Not super long, but like longer than a buzz cut, which is what I'm rocking right now. But that's not what you guys are here about. You don't want to know about my hair. Alright. Doop. Beautiful. Now we can bucket fill that. And then this, start with the lighter color and we'll make it even lighter. Somewhere about there, perhaps. Lighter, but maybe slightly more saturated. Less saturated? More saturated? I can't remember which is less and which is more, but anyways, more gray. Beauty. I have a wish list for the future version of this guy, the future version of our engineer guy that we're creating this box for. My future wish is that every time you go and see him, the item that we're currently drawing, the item that he's working on, every time you go and see him in the game, I think it would be cool if that item was randomized and he was working on something different every time. That'd be sick. Be a really nice little subtle touch to the game. Anyways, there we go. We now have that filled in, and our box is looking great. Looks very mysterious, very strange. Not at all Bong-like. Lol. And if there's any children watching, you don't know what that means, ask your parents. Alright. What should our hue be for this pipe section? Like a orange maybe? Or like a yellow? Yeah, yellow would be kind of cool. Like yellowy green. Somewhere in between yellow and green. Yeah, that's good. And we'll make it slightly more saturated. Or again, more or less, I don't know. But looks nice. Thanks, man. This is just, JL, this is just going to be a little doodad that is for our character here. We just want him to have something that he's handling while he's idle. But yeah, that's the whole goal with this. Yeah. But actually, sorry, I shouldn't have colored that in that. We need that to be darker. Much darker, because that's the inside of the pipe. In fact, we could even go one step further and make an even darker section. Cut that out and put that like that. Another darker circle on the center of the thing, which should, when we zoom out, yeah, kinda looks like it's got a little bit of a lip or whatever. Anyways, cool. Let's just finish off this pipe, then we can color in the panels, then we can get on with animating our engineer character. Oh, we did that, so we can just dump that, dump it to Crumpet. Boom. Now, these panels, I'm thinking would look good kind of a light or purpley gray, but a little darker than the top, but way more gray. So like that. They are basically gray. Cool. Actually, lighter than that. Whoopsies. Oh dear. Oh dear. Yeah, like that. I went slightly outside of the line there, but you know what? It's such a tiny little detail. You'll never in a million years see that in the final game, so I'm not going to worry about it. I think I should start actually updating my stream title to something other than like JavaScript, whatever it is right now, game, open source game development, because I want to start putting like specifically the plan for the stream in the title. Of course, that means that would require me to be a lot more organized, but okay, I really like this song and I'm gonna take note of it. Lost by the Eden Project. Nice, I like this one. Anything drum and bass. I don't know about you guys, but I love drum and bass music. It is my lifeblood. My audio lifeblood. Boom. Looks good. We've got a doodad. So let's save that in our somewhere. I guess in our game. Makes sense. So games, no place like, source, nope, not sprites. We want assets, images, sprites. And we'll call this, or no, we can just put it with the doodad, the engineer guy. Doodad. And to get it in a little image. Well, you know what? Actually, it doesn't really totally matter because we're going to be animating this all in Synfig, so we can just export it like this. Even though there's a bunch of extra space around it, for our purposes, it's not going to matter. Of course, if you were like importing this directly into your game, you wouldn't want to do that, but for our purposes, it's fine. And discard changes, sure, whatever. We only switch the background color to be off. Alrighty, anyways, now back to animating our character. Yeah, so let's see. Xkiller Knight, you do your own sprites too. Nice job. Thanks, man. Cheers to that. Yeah, I try to. I don't at all consider myself to be even slightly professional, but, you know, let's do what I can. So let's import our... Oh, I'm still using my tablet. I don't need to use that anymore. Whoopsie daisies, one sec. Put that over there. Now let's switch back to the natural precision of our mouse. Import our doodad, and of course it's ginormous when we first import it, so scale that way down, way down, way down. And perfect. About that size is good, I think. A little smaller, perhaps. Now we're talking. Smooth move tool. What is that? No idea. Anyways. So let's. He looks scary, says JL. Yeah, a little bit. A little bit. He's a little creepy. But he's supposed to be wearing like engineering goggles. That's what those are supposed to be. They're kind of like something like that, you know. So let's get his right arm, or left arm, excuse me, in place. So we've got him all rigged up with armature now, so now he's ready to animate. And we can... The only thing is when we bend it too aggressively, his arms get really skinny. I'm trying to figure out why it does that and see if there's a way I can reverse that, but again, these details look really terrible to us, but when it's the final version of the game, it's going to be hard to notice that kind of stuff. It's because we're going to be zoomed out like this far, so you can sort of tell, but like it's not a total deal breaker in my opinion. Anyways, so holding it something like that to begin with, and let's see, his idle animation could just be him sort of moving it and like examining it, something like that. So he'll just start with it in his lap, kind of like that, and we can make that a keyframe. So let's go ahead and add that key. How do you do this again? Okay, hold on. I think I need to be in animation mode, and I need to go... Or maybe 0 defaults to being a keyframe. I think that's the deal. So by frame... Well, let's say frame 5. He'll be what do we want him to be looking like on frame 5? Oh no, it didn't make it a keyframe, you jerk. Okay, there we go, 0 is a keyframe now. And 5, also a keyframe. Nope, still didn't let me, what the heck? Oh, there we go. Maybe just your current frame can't... weird, whatever. Alright, cool. So, on frame 5... Cannot change... Okay. What? Go away then. So on this frame, we want him let's see, we'll say his right arm, or no, not right arm. I don't know my left and rights apparently. Left arm, we'll sort of rotate it around a little bit. Hide the doodad just for a second. And so he's kind of picking it up now. So maybe to about here. And kind of straighten it out a little. And his left arm, no, damn it, not his left arm, his right arm, jeez. His right arm now can be kind of out, and hopefully this isn't going to look too wacky when we bend it, but something like this, maybe? To about there? Let's try that. And show our doodad again and just move our doodad into place, which would be about here. About something around there. Maybe down a little. Yeah, that's there. About there. Cool. Switch off recording mode. And let's see that played back. So now he kind of picks it up. Looks good to me. So he's just moving it into place. We got to make sure we don't use too many frames, just because our end goal isn't to make this into a movie. Our end goal is to make this into a sprite sheet that we can then import into Phaser. And we have to keep in mind that on lower power devices, they're not going to be able to handle like these giant sprite sheets with 1 million frames. So we got to like be cautious and be very thrifty, I suppose, in our use of frames. One last thing I want to do is I want to rotate his head a little bit. So he's kind of cocking his head and he's like, what's this? Where's his head? Oh, I'm on it. Out. Yeah. So, oh shoot, but the origin point is going to be not where we want it. So hold on. How do you change that in this program? Whoa, not that. Not that. Whatever, let's just kind of go like that and hope that it works, sort of. So let's see. See if that did the trick. Switch off animating mode or recording mode or whatever it's called. Yeah, perfect. There we go. So, kind of examining it from this side. You know, maybe he'll pause here for a moment, then he'll say, okay, now examine it from this side, and like just, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I think that's what our animation for this guy is going to be. In fact, actually, I think we could start with him examining it from one side and just have him oscillate back and forth between checking it from one side, checking it on the other side, checking it on one side, checking it on the other side, like that. And then when you talk to him, he'll have an animation of bringing it down. Or, yeah, we don't need it to be too advanced at first, so let's just have him checking it from one side to the other. That's simple enough. So I'm actually going to blow up this keyframe, get rid of it, and move this keyframe to frame 0. So we'll start on this side, and then we can actually, let's use a few more frames than just, yeah, like 12 should be fine. And we can actually leverage a feature of Phaser here where we don't actually have to animate but from one side to the other. We can use like a yo-yo effect in our animation so that it's like the same as Boomerang on Instagram, for those of you who are familiar with that, where you just sort of, you play it forwards, then in reverse, forwards, then in reverse, like that. So yeah, we can use that for this feature. So we only need to have as many frames as we want it to be moving from one side. So I think 12 should be fine, 12 frames. So let's create our keyframe on frame 12, and on frame 12, start by moving his left arm. I actually got it right that time. left arm to about here, and sort of cocked a bit more. Now, it does look weird, but we'll move on, we'll deal with it. And his right arm, more like that. And the doodad can move here. And his head, lastly, will rotate right off of his neck, but out there, something like that. So let's just see. Do we have a smooth? Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. So he'll just be moving it side to side, pausing every now and then. That looks okay to me. I'm happy with that. So let's save him, and let's get his canvas to be the right size, which, if I remember, is a little bit of a hassle in Synfig at times. I'm actually just going to put this on my other screen. Sorry you guys can't see it, but that way we can see what's happening to the canvas. So let's see. Now, how did I do this before? Okay, I'll, you know what, show you guys the features I'm playing. Right, this is where it was, I think. You had to change settings on here to make sure you didn't stretch or resize the actual image, you just cropped it. That's all we want to do, is we just want to crop the stage here so that it's a little closer to him, not super widescreen. If I just reduce the width, will that... Oh, it doesn't even update in real time. Oh, that would be boring then, we can't see shit. I mean, we can't see S. Let's apply that. Now, see, that's what I'm saying. It scales him down. That's what we don't want. So, I can't Control Z that? Oh dear. Oh yes, I can. Okay. Okay. So now, why is that scaling him? Is it because we're doing pixel stuff as well? I don't know. These are all settings that I, by the way, totally don't know what they mean, but I'm just fiddling with them until I get what I want. I don't know why I moved it over, because you can't see anyways, but let's see. Down to 300, let's say. Apply that. Wow, now he got squished. That's not what we want either. So, okay. Let's say image width, image height, turn off pixel aspect, or maybe just image span. What if we leave just image span on? That sounds promising. Sorry viewers, I know this is tedious. We'll get on to the fun stuff in a minute here. Damn. Sorry, this calls for Google. Synfig Studio crop stage. Ugh, and yeah, there's like nothing. Okay, fine. That's no help at all. They make it really obvious in other programs like GIMP and stuff like that. But this is just annoying. Image width, image height. I guess leave pixel aspect on, but we don't want the pixels to change. What if we say image aspect too? I don't know. To turn all that stuff on and bring it on down. Okay. kind of closer to what we want. But I think he did lose some height there too, so if I keep doing this, I bet you... Oh no, he didn't. Beauty, 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 beauty. Okay, so let's just make him square. Oh, he did lose scale there. Damn it. This is so irritating. No. Oh, hold the phone. Image area, image size. I bet we should be messing with the image area, not the image size. So let's try that. Oopsies. Perhaps I am the thick one. So, but I don't really understand the units they're using here. That just zoomed him in. So top left, bottom right. Oh, so that would be like there and there, I guess. We change that to 3 or -3, and this to like just 3. Yeah, that's what we want. That's the magic. We figured it out. Woohoo! -2. Let's try 2. Just get it as close to his body as we can without making him go out, any part of his animation go out of the frame. Beautiful. We've got a little bit of padding on either side now, but you know what? I'm totally happy with that. That's for our purposes, that is a-okay. So let's save that. Now we can go File, Render, and we don't want Target Auto, we want Target PNG Sprite Sheet. Now really what we want to be doing in the future is creating Atlas sprite sheets, and what I was using for that was this program called Texture Packer. But there is a problem. Texture Packer is unfortunately paid software, and I was using a free trial of it, which has now expired. So for now, we're just going to have to do regular sprite sheets. When I come up with the cash, I'll pay for a license for it, and then we can just use the Atlas sprites. Like we're doing with a couple of our other sprites, but for now this is going to have to do for this guy. So let's say, well, that looks pretty good to me, so we'll just say render, or hold on, where are we? Yeah, sprites engineer guy, yep, cool, render. And it didn't crash, so that's good news. Let's see what it looks like. Crack it, says King 440. Well, my days of cracking software and doing that kind of stuff are long behind me, I'm afraid. As enticing as it is to do that, nah, that ain't for me no more. So no place like, source, assets, images, sprites, and engineer guy, and NPC engineer. Whoa, why so many frames? What is going on? Oh, I know why. Hold the phone. We gotta trash that and try one more time. It's because we're animating from the start of our animation to the end was way too long. We want it to end on frame 12, not frame 140, whatever the hell. So how do we specify that here? I think it's perhaps canvas options. Time, no. Units, no. Render time. Here we go. Yeah, duration or end time, not 120 frames. We want 12 frames. That should fix the ginormous sprite sheet that we just rendered. So other than that, we're looking good. So all the rest I think is fine. Render that. Now let's take a look. And yet it's still huge. Why is it huge but empty? That makes no sense. Okay, hold on, this is wacky. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen, we will get this working. It'll just take a couple more moments here. Let's see, so file, render, or it's probably not in render, we probably have to define the end frame somewhere. So let's say file, looking for like properties or edit, not preferences. Effed up software says King 440. I mean, you can read it on the screen, but anyways, I'm trying really hard not to swear. It's like proving to be impossible because in my day-to-day life, I just swear and cuss all day long, but I want my streams to be, you know, kind of slightly kid-friendly, maybe, but it's probably not going to happen. Don't worry about it. Oh, here we go. Keep. How can I not find this? I swear it was like really like front and center before, and it was like very obvious. It's this. This is what we want to change because we have a bazillion frames in our timeline, but we only want toggle time bar. Oh no, that's cool. But oh, for goodness sake. Not totally feeling this song. Sorry, guys. So, come on, where the heck? Where the F, where the H, where the C, where the S is this? Where the HFSC is this? Let's just try preferences. Document. Yes, document. No, where? Come on. How can this? Come on. Properties. Time. Is it? Oh, end time. That's it. Okay, so so for future note, it's under canvas, properties, time. End time, 120. No. 12. Apply. There we go. Now we only have 12 frames in our timeline. Oops. If we play it, that's it. Right there. Just like that. Yoop. Okay. Woo. That was painful. Have I heard about WebAssembly, says King 440. No, I haven't. What is WebAssembly? Render. Make sure the time settings are all good. Yes. PNG, blah, 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 all that's fine, so render. Now hopefully we don't have a giant sprite sheet. We should, there we go. We just have the frames we're interested in, not a whole bunch of white space, so perfecto. We now have a sprite sheet, and we can close out of Synfig, and we can start coding. Oh yeah. So for that, we're gonna need VS Code. And it's already in the right project, so isn't that nice? And now let's see, we're gonna have to preload it first, so let's head over to the preloader function. All right, hold on, before we do that, let's boot up our server and get our game running. And I can even show you guys, oh, interesting. It's going to be successor of JavaScript. With WebAssembly, you can even run Windows on browser. Holy, wow. That's impressive. Damn. Well, I'll definitely keep an eye out for that on the internets and see what if I come across articles or something, I'll read about it, because that's enticing. That's pretty cool. Thanks for telling me about that, King 440. Anyways, this is the game we have so far. So we've got our main character that we can run around and shoot with. We've got this little I probably shouldn't have killed him yet, but we've got these robots that jump around, and you can shrink ray them, and then eventually, once they get small enough, they just disappear and fall off the map. So we can do that. We can do that. Boink. We can, all this stuff. It's very cool. Very cool. I'm pretty happy with the progress we've made, considering we started on this in January. Oh, YouTube video, beauty. Oh, whoops. Let's see.
Do you want to learn to draw professional and impressive artwork from scratch?
I don't.
Blow people's minds?
Well, I do, but nice, man. Thanks. I'll check this out post stream. Cheers, man. Thank you. Anyways, yeah, this is the game we have so far. Got like our shrink ray electricity gun, whatever it's called. And yeah, that's about what we've got as of right now. So let's introduce, I kind of want to change the map up a little bit too, actually, but nah, let's just preload our guy and have him sitting in the cave for now. Or no, you know what? Yes, let's change up the map slightly. I know I'm all over the place here. I'm changing my mind on everything, but yeah. Because what I'm thinking is there's going to be like a labyrinth of caves, and the caves is going to be kind of like the safe zone. The caves is where, like, when you walk into the caves, he'll put his gun away, and he'll switch into like a passive mode where you can't shoot anything, but you can talk to people, and you can interact with NPCs and stuff like that. And that's where the NPC we're working on is going to live, this engineer guy. So, let's see. So for that, we're going to need to edit our map. We're going to need tiled, and my current installation of tiled is really messed up. I've got, basically I have an app image sitting in my downloads directory, which is the real installation of tiled, and then I've got like a version installed, but it's like a version that's too old and it can't export JSON properly. So everything's a mess. It's all a mess. But anyways, this is our map currently that we were just playing around on. And I think it might be high time for us to actually create an analog of the King 440 says, spray gun looks messed up. It does not match with the rest of the game. Yeah, man, we're sort of just, we're very much in sandbox mode at the moment. We're not really creating, like, stuff that's going to be, like, very final for the game. This is just going to be, like, the minimum viable minimum viable product version of the game. So we're kind of, like, we're making all the systems, we're making all sort of the back end, if you will, of the game, the skeleton, and getting all that in place. And then once we have that in place, we can actually start building out, like, implementing the real content of the game, aka the levels, the guns, and so on and so forth. Yeah, right now that gun is just kind of like a shrink ray type deal, but yeah, you know what? I think it's high time for us to... You know, I'm going to keep this map because it's kind of like we've been here so long. I don't really want to delete it, but yeah, let's make a new map. Why don't we do that? And this is going to be like our actual game, finally. So 100 tiles by 100 tiles, that's fine to start off with. We can always change it. The tile size is, yes, 100 by 100. We'll call this... I don't want to just call it Africa, because I do want it to be like a specific place in Africa, but I still haven't figured out what that specific place is going to be, so let's just call this level 1. It's the worst name, most generic name ever, but alright, this is what we got. So, as always, we kind of spawn up in the top left corner, so start everything up over here. And I need to have the exact same layer structure as our first map, because that layer structure is actually very important to the code of the game. The code is referencing the layers for different purposes. So we have our above layer. I think it's just called above MC. Yes. And we've got a solid layer, which is just called solid, and that's in the middle. And then behind MC. Oops, behind MC, not behind MX. Behind MC, solid layer. And then we have an object layer, which is just for our portal, but I'm actually not gonna add that right now, just because that was quite specifically, that was just so we could, well, you're not even gonna be able to see it actually, but we've got a little portal at the very end of our map, which warps you to a different world, which is right here. So what that little white box is all about. But we don't really need that for now. That's like when we start creating animated tiles and interactive tiles and stuff like that is when we're going to need object layers. So let's get started with our map, shall we? So I want it to start in a cave, not outside of the cave. So I think it makes sense to, now just, I need to check which layer what's on. So the solid layer looks like it, yeah, okay, so the solid layer is everything that you can stand on or you can't fall through. So that's what we want to draw on now. It's our solid layer. And I'm gonna just say, do all this, have like a little bit of, maybe like to here. Just so that way you can't really see outside of the cave. You know, even more. Let's go full ham. Here we go. And then out of that we can cut out our actual map. Because we're starting in a cave, so we want enough wall on either side of the cave so that you can't really see the outside while you're spawning inside our cave world, because the cave is going to be kind of like the safe zone where you can't hurt anything and nothing can hurt you. It's going to be like your base camp, so to speak. Oh, there's a fill tool. Wow. Should just be using that. Let's do that. So I want this labyrinth to be quite extensive, so let's get it all the way to here, perhaps. And then, why don't we actually, let's define the edges of it. That's a good idea. So it's gonna just be like a big, almost mountain at first. So I'm thinking, this right here could be like the top. Or maybe out a little further. You know what, let's, yeah, make it like an actual mountain that we can climb if we so desire. To about there. Or that. Then that. Or just like that. That. Like that. We might have to extend this layer a little, or this map a little bit already, but and then here we'll say one of those and one of those again. And this is going to be where our cave comes out into the daylight. Oh wait, but that shouldn't be the solid layer. We want that to be the behind layer, I do believe. Yeah, any cave related things are on the behind layer. Note to self. Oh, beautiful. It has the same hotkey as GIMP. You can just hide everything and just focus on drawing. That's amazing. I'm really just freestyling at this point. I have no real idea what this map's gonna look like just yet, but it's all good. We'll make something cool. Use that dump tool. Boom. That's handy. I think having a height of 1, 2, 3, 4 for our tunnels is going to be a good general rule for the height that we want. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. Thinking of a way that you could get up here too, but whatever, we'll come back to that. Looking pretty good. I'm gonna say minimum height of 3, but like maximum height of 4. That ought to be good. So why don't we fill in this this section of the map now? Gonna need to keep our thing open because we're gonna be changing tiles a lot. Or actually, you know what? We can still do it this way. Let's just fill in all the corners first. So corner, 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 corner. And I don't think I've missed any for just our intro here. So now let's do the other corner, or maybe bottom corners. Actually, there's not a lot of those, so let's do this corner. So we've got corner, 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 oops, corner, 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 corner. Now let's do roofing. Some roofing, shall we? Roof, roof, roof. Roof, 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 roof. And some floors. Floor, floor. So the whole idea with this is in our final game, there's going to be these giant robots roaming the earth that are just there to mess everything up and destroy us real good. So most of humanity that is alive still will have taken to living underground. So that's why we have this expansive maze of tunnels that we're starting to design right now. So let's do corner again, right there, and right there, and right there. And we need a roof piece for here, and more darkness, more background or whatever. back and change and put in the right edge pieces in a moment, but for now we can just fill in, or yeah, why don't we just use that fill tool again? Hold on, what am I doing? I think to about somewhere around here would be good. And haven't really figured out the rest of that, so for now let's just cut it off here. Oop. Oh, that's selecting everything. Why is that? Oh, because we're on a different layer. So we do need to say like that ought to do. Still no. Oh, because we got a gap right there. Boom. Alright, now it's starting to look like a cave. Okay, so now let's get all those edges right. Start with the bottom edges. So we'll go like one there, one there. Well, actually that's going to be a corner, but whatever. Come in and do the corners after. Boom, boom, boom. Bottoms here, bottoms here, bottoms here. Probably should have done a couple different bottom tiles just to have a bit more variety, but that's okay. For now it'll do. Bottom here, bottom here, bottom here. And now let's do the corners. Corner there, corner there, corner there. Corner there, corner there, corner there. I think that's it for this area. Now, corner on the other side. We'll have a lot of those for these steps. Corners, boom. Play that Eden song again. I really like that one. Eden something. Oh, that's just gonna search everything. I want to search the playlist. How do you do that? Ah, filter. Lost, I think was. Yeah. I like this song. Alright. So now let's do the roof right here. Zoom in so you can actually see what the difference we're making. It's just fine details for the map now, is these like edge pieces, but it'll make it look a lot better in the final product, so it's worth it. Alright. I guess now we can move these sides. Start with the left side, so right there, right there. There, there, there. There, 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 there. There, there, there. There, there, there. Now right side. There, 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 there. There, there, there. There, there, there. I did make the edge pieces the wrong color though, and that really irritates me, but just again, this is our MVP version. If there's little minor details out of place, as long as the core mechanics are working, that's really what we're going for here. Alright. Wasn't expecting to be map making in this stream, but I guess that's what we're doing. So, okay. Wow, it's 10:50 already, damn. My plan was to implement the NPC logic today, but we might just be doing a map, actually. But it'll be a cool map. It'll be the actual map that we're going to be using in version 0.01 of our game. So this is exciting. No more test maps. We're making a real map now. So we're going to need to carve something out up here, which is going to be like the starting area, which I'm sort of envisioning to be like kind of like a bunk bed, like sleeping quarters kind of thing. Has anyone here read The City of Ember? Because that's sort of what I'm basing this, like, it's not going to be like that, because City of Ember is like an entire city underground, but this is just, I took some inspiration from City of Ember for this whole underground world, because City of Ember is an awesome book. They made a movie of it too, but I think the movie wasn't super hot, but the book is sick. Alright, so let's see. Like, let's carve out the living quarters now up here, shall we? Back on the solid layer, and we're going to use our eraser. Start it kind of, again, we want some padding on the outer layer of our bedroom for our guy, because I would prefer it if we don't see the outside of the map. I mean, I guess if you have a big enough screen, you're gonna see it, so I should probably account for it. So maybe we'll do, yeah, you know what, why don't we just not worry about it so much and say 3 padding is enough, and move on. So his little room area can be right here like this. It's got a little bed up here and like a desk over here or something. I don't know. That'll work. And again, minimum of 3. I'd like it to feel cozy in his room, so 3 will do. Actually, let's experiment with doing a 2-layer corridor. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm not giving myself enough room here. Okay. Let's have it alternate direction now. So kind of cut out these ones. Have that cut out. Now have it go down a little bit more. Yes, that's what we want. He's going to have his own little quiet living quarters up in the top of the map by himself. That's the plan here. I think we should be able to fit through this part of the map. I think our character should fit fine. We'll see. Now we need to draw some more cubes. So let's bring it down to about maybe we need a little bit more cut out. Let's do that. Like that. Like that. There we go. That should be good. I'm just the reason I'm painstakingly going over this and like making sure all there's nothing too narrow, although that might be too narrow. Yeah, that would be too narrow. Hold on. The reason I'm doing it this way is because when we start playing our game, if we have anywhere that's too narrow in our corridors or our tunnels or whatever, our actual sprite character won't be able to fit, and you'll just get stuck somewhere in the map, and that's bad news bears. We don't want that. Bad news bears. Still in the solid layer, check. Leave that as kind of like our guide for how far, how close to the edge we can go. This will be kind of like maybe like a great hall sort of area down here where everybody chills and has dinners. I think I am going to have to implement like a ladder climbing system eventually so that players can actually just climb up and down in a straight up and straight down. Because that would make creating this whole map a lot easier if we could just have the character go from like right up and down here. Or elevators would work too. Maybe an elevator system, that would be good too. Let's just see. I'm going to add an issue for that on our GitHub page. Let's head on over to GitHub, do that real quick. Let's just say implement a ladder or elevator system. We need players to be able to move straight up or down on maps, particularly in caves. This would be very useful. And this will be an enhancement for the MVP project. And yep, submit that. Cool. Just to make sure we keep track of all our wish lists for the game and wants and needs. Because like right now we're gonna have to do something like this. The way it's currently set up. And then maybe have it go straight down a little bit. Or like that. Oh, actually, I have an idea. I've got a thought on something we can do. What if we have alternating, like, little lips sticking out? Would we be able to jump that high? You know, if we can't jump that high, I'm just going to make it so that we can jump that high. Increase the character's jump height a little bit. But yeah, this might be a good solution to our problem here. Something like this. This open up into like a big hall kind of thing. i.e. like similar to the Great Hall in Hogwarts, something like that, but maybe we'll have like a little door that leads off out of the map here. And then also, well, actually that'll be fine for now. Let's just have one little door at the end. Beautiful. Now we can use our dump tool to fill in a couple spots, like there, or maybe just there for now. I'm gonna cut it off here for this, for our stream tonight. I'm not gonna fill in the rest of here. I'm just gonna end it, like get as far as the Great Hall thing, and then we'll carry on and do a little bit more coding to implement this map and position our character correctly and all that stuff. Okay, so now we can do a bit more dumping to crumpet, dump it to crumpet, boom, dump it to crumpet, boom, dump it to crumpet. Beautiful. And I don't think that's going to be anything right now. Or maybe it'll be another, let's make it another bedroom. So here, where we're kind of branching off here, we can carve this out and have it start going up. And the landing here. Another bedroom, right like that. But we need to take away one tile here, and that should be fine actually. So maybe just move that down slightly. Yeah, that'll work. And let's give this, whoever's bedroom this is, we'll give them a little bit more space. So like something like that. And yeah. Cool. So that can be another bedroom. But now we can fill this in. Oh, I still have the eraser. That's what I'm doing wrong. Cool, and bucket tool. What are the hotkeys on this? F for fill. Okay, boom. And then this is what? B for brush. Cool. So for now, let's just cut that off, but leave that little indent so we know that's going to be another door. We need a little bit more work up here. Maybe there'll be a little tunnel up here just to nothing. And oh wait, hold on, that was a platform, right? That ought to work. be like. Actually, just leave it like that. And then I'm not sure if you're actually going to be able to make these jumps, so we're going to have to test that once we implement our character. But like I said, if you can't, I'll probably just up the jump height on the character to make it a little bit, make our map making life a little bit easier. So now we can head on over to our, but our behind layer is not going to have any of that, so we can't just dump it. Oh, that sucks. Well, whatever. I guess we'll just do some edge drawing here. We want that. Actually, you know what? Let's do it so we don't have to go over it a million times. Let's just actually draw all the edges in right now. So, roof, roof, roof. Roof, 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 roof. Alright. This is the cool thing that's really excites me about this stuff, is that because we have all these systems in place for our map, it's actually going to be like creating new worlds and new maps for this game is really just going to be as easy as drawing them in tiled and importing them into the game and creating a little class for them. But because we have all these baseline systems in place, it's gonna, like, our lives are gonna, when we actually get into the content creation part of the game, it's going to be just like, I'm not saying it's going to be a cakewalk, but it will be very like straightforward, and we're going to have to write like minimal amounts of code to make everything work. It's mostly just going to be creating content in programs. So that's really the way I envision a successful game project going down, is that you have all these systems in place that you take a lot of time to develop and design, but then once those systems are in place, actually creating the real game, like all the content of the game that people play, is going to be, again, not a cakewalk, but you can just use programs to create all the stuff you need. So it's kind of cool. The reason I'm not doing corners is because we have those corner pieces to fill in those. So anything that's just a corner, I'll leave it for now because we'll come back and do those over in a sec. Would anyone be mad if I played that one song again? I'm like the worst for like just finding a song I really like and then just spamming it to myself and playing it on repeat all day, every day. But I really like that song. I really like drum and bass. I think I'm gonna put together my own playlist of these no copyright sound songs that's all drum and bass, and hopefully no one has any objections to that who's watching this stream. But yeah. Oh, what am I saying? It is playing that song again. Lol. Do you mind if I play the song? It plays the song for me. That's future tech, baby. Crank that shit up. So let's start doing corners. corners on the other side. Oh, I just realized that's too big of a drop. We're not going to be able to make that. Whatever. We might just increase the jump height here. Okay, oh, I guess we got a bunch in here we gotta do too. Not a bunch, just 2, 3, 4, 5. Kind of bunch. 6. Okay. Trust me, this is all worth it. I know it's a little painful at the moment, but it's all worth it in the end. We're going to have a beautiful map that we can explore. Let's do the top right corners now. Right corner, top right corner, top right corner, top right corner. Okay. There's one, there's another. Hold on, do I have like just a... Okay, no. Wait, am I just playing songs only by the Eden? Uh-oh. Just gonna make sure I'm playing songs from the right playlist, because I don't want to get in copyright trouble. Because if it starts going off and being Spotify and playing songs from a million different sources, I could get in trouble. So let's do, why not right walls now? Ooh. Ah. Alrighty. We are getting there. We are getting there. Let's start filling in the just background. That should actually highlight any areas that we've missed pretty nicely for us. Oops. Here. Alright. Let's see. Should just be able to dump this. We'll be good. Alright. Let's see now. That is looking like a big empty cave. Alright. Now let's start dealing with the grass. And on this side, actually we'll give this an edge too. Oh shoot, I'm on the wrong layer. Crap. That would be why nothing's happening. Solid layer, there we go. Boom, that's better. Okay, cool. That is more or less our system of our initial system of caves that we want. That looks pretty good to me. So now I'm just gonna draw in a big area that we can fill in right here. So again, you can't see the sky when you're in the cave, because that would be odd if you were underground and you suddenly saw a sky. Like, that wouldn't really make sense. So cool. Let's fill that in. Oops, guess we got to connect the dots. Now we can fill that in. Bucket or fill tool. Boom. Brush tool. And let's start doing some of the detailing on the for the grass and what have you out here. which we already did that, which is good. And some more grass. Then this is we're gonna extend this eventually and go on beyond this edge here, but for now, that'll do. And cool. All right. Now let's add something finally to the above layer, which is going to be, we're going to randomize drawing grass. So right now it shows we're drawing a thing of 3 chunk tiles of grass, but if you hit this dice icon, it'll just switch to random mode, and it'll randomly select one of those 3 that we have selected every time we draw. So it's really handy. And we can go boop, 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 boop. Do 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 do. Damn, like that. Get some lush, long grass going. We are out in the wild after all. All right, we're about there, I think. We're almost ready to, should probably save that. Yeah, we're about ready to get our map moved over to our actual code. One thing I'm just going to do, though, is I'm going to highlight everything and use this rectangular select, or how does that work? Oh, I see. Yes, and I want to move these tiles down by just 1 tile so that we can add, what? Oh, what? That moves the selection? That's not what I want. I want it to move the tiles. Oh, but there's... Oh, because we're on the above layer. I gotcha. So we got to do it on every layer. So let's go Control A, move down by 1. Control A, move down by 1. Control A, move down by 1. Beautiful. Now switch back to our brush. Zoom it on in. Oopsies. And now we can just add some grass, some long grass up on the roof as well, which will be on the above layer. Not that we're going to be able to, why isn't it drawing? Oh, we don't have tiles there. Oh, what? Oh, we moved the tiles out of the, God, what the heck? Okay, you know what? I'm not going to bother with that right now. Let's just get this baby exported and start digging into our code a little bit. I'm quite happy with this map. It's looking good to me, so export as level1.json, correct. We can finally close out a tiled. Don't remember what we changed in here, but oops. Oh dear me. There we go. Jeez. Sure, just save it, whatever. Cool. Now we're gonna head on to our preloader, and we're gonna load in our new map, which is a tile map, tiled JSON. And this one, we've got Africa camp map, test map, and now we've got level 1. Which we'll probably rename in the future, but for now, it's level 1. Level 1 and maps slash our newly exported level1.json. Cool, so that's loading it into the memory. with our preloader. So now we actually have to create a new class for our new level. So in here, in our levels directory, we're going to say new file, and we'll call it level1, again, just for now, .js. And let's open up one of our existing levels just as a reference. Looks like we already had it open. Close out everything else we don't need. Hide our bar, and split our screen into two. Boom, go like that. So now we've got, oh, I didn't open our new level, whoopsie daisies. Level 1. There we go, bring that over there. Don't need the preloader anymore. All right, cool. Now let's just have this as a handy dandy, ooh. Oh man, gotta stretch a little bit more often. I'm so, just sit here for hours, but all right, here we go. Import our level class from /base/level. We don't need geometry because that was for some hit test stuff that was a little wacky that we were doing before. We will import our MC Africa. For now, we're just going to import the fight version. Eventually, we're going to have it so you can toggle between the fight version and the passive version. But for now, from sprites, sprites/PC/MC Africa fight. Boom. Now, we don't want any enemies yet, so we don't need to import any of those. We don't need intersects because that's from geometry. So here we go. Class level1 extends level. We'll give it a key. Constructor level. Let's just call it level 1. Oops. And yeah, actually, let's say export default, because I always forget to do this. Export default level 1. So that makes it available for import in other classes and JavaScript files. So teleport, check overlap, that's all stuff specific to Africa Camp. We don't need any of that just now. This is where things are going to be a little bit different. So we're going to say in our create function, we're not going to worry about creating bad guys right now, so we don't need any of that code right at the start. The key thing we need right here is we need to call the init scene function, which we get from extending level. So init scene, and MC class we'll say is MC Africa fight, because we're using the fight version. Again, we're going to need to tweak that in the future, but for now we're fine. We don't need to pass in enemies because we're not doing anything, but Africa Camp is actually the default, so we don't want that anymore. What we do want, let's open up our level.js and check what the configuration we're looking for is. Our tile map key is the same. Oh, no, it's not. Wait, yes, it is. No, it's not. Africa Camp map. Yeah, I think we're looking for level 1. Let's just open our preloader to confirm that. Preloader scene. Africa Camp map. Let's change this to level 1-map, just to keep with our naming convention. And yeah, so tile map key is what we're looking for. So we need to change that. We need to say tile map key is level 1-map. Beauty. Now with that, our init scene should be good, and that's actually all we're going to need for our create function. And we realistically are not even really going to need much in our update function either. Although actually, you know what? Yeah, right now we're deciding where to initialize our character inside of. I need a mouse pad. I need a real mouse pad. I'm just using a notebook at the moment, and it like gets all sweaty, and then it's like it doesn't work. Anyways, right now we've just got our X and Y position for our character's starting point coded, so hard coded. So we're going to create some new configuration that will default to these numbers, but in just a moment we're going to replace them. so that we can specify in each level. So we'll say player X well, hang on, let's just paste them right here. So X is 500, Y is 1100. So player X initializes to, or defaults to 500. Player Y, or not, we're calling him MC everywhere else, so let's just keep calling him MC. So MCX is 500, and MCY is 1100. Those out of here. Oh, right, I'm using the wrong syntax. There we go. Perfect. But in the case of our new map that we're creating, we don't actually want... I shouldn't have closed tiled so early. We can work out exactly what we want the X and Y to be. But MCX is something, let's say 1, MCY 1. But just here, we're going to open up tiled again, open up our map, and calculate exactly what we want the X and Y to be, which is in my downloads folder, because I have the weirdest installation of tiled in the world. I don't even really have a proper installation, but we'll just gloss over that. Level 1. We want him to start up here. So it would be an X of, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4 times 100, or let's say 5 times 100 for good measure, and 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, just 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, so 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. So X of 500, Y of 400. So MCX is 500, MCY 400. Now finally, the last thing we have to do is just implement our update function and add our new level into our scenes array in our game.js, but we'll do that in a second. First, we're just gonna, whoops, actually we don't need this at all. We'll save that, but, oh wait, yes we do, sorry, hold on. One little thing we have to tweak in here. We need to actually implement those numbers. We have to say MCX and MCY. Otherwise, they would still just be defaulting to those hard-coded numbers. Great, so that's good. Now we just need to implement our update function, which is just going to be as simple as saying this.mc.update and this.update scene, which I actually am going to clean this up in the future. So in theory, all you're going to have to call is update scene. And I might even make like a default update function so that if you don't define your own update function, you still get one for free. Oh wow, and I totally implemented the constructor wrong. Sorry about that, hold the phone. Constructor super level 1, or level dash level 1. Cool. So that's all we need for our class for our level. So this is what I'm talking about, see? So that because we spent so much time creating those like skeleton baseline, sort of like the framework for our game, for our specific game, we now, when we create a new level, because we already have our JSON tile map all set up and preloaded and stuff like that, like writing the code for our level is really this easy. For like just a basic level out of the box, no enemies or anything like that, that's all you need, that's it. So that's why I've been stressing so much about, or not, that's why I've been stressing that the importance of getting your all the behind the scenes stuff working first before getting onto the actual content of the game. If my years of game development have taught me anything, it's that is really important. So now we just need to go into our game.js in our source directory and say levels right here. We'll say import level 1 from .scenes/levels/level 1. Import it and throw it on into our scenes array, just like that. And last final little thing we want to do is back in our preloader, we just want it so that instead of the scene we're working on now is no longer Africa Camp, it's now level-level 1, which is the key we gave our scene in our constructor. And with that, don't really need Discord open. With that, we should be safe. Compiled successfully, sweet. So now let's head on over to localhost and test our brand new level. Ready for this? Uh-oh. Disaster. Oh, that's super weird. Wasn't expecting that at all. Looks like we've got some issues with our collision detection going on, but let's just run around and see what we can see. Okay, and we're gonna have to adjust some parts of here, as I figured we might, but cool, this is all working. So this is the level that we have just painfully drawn out, and within minutes, it's playable, it's implemented in our game. Isn't that just magical? So let's try and get outside here. That's my goal right now. I noticed that the background color is messed up again, but that was an issue of layering before, so I'll just look into that later. So particles are layered correctly, that's good. Almost overshot that. Boom, and now let's head on outside. And I mean, our level's looking pretty plain at the moment. It's basically just a very, very empty cave, but that's okay. We'll spend time adding stuff to it later on. Yeah, so the sky's black again, which is definitely a bug from before, but point is we're outside. The grass is layered in front of us, so that's good. Yeah, this is looking sweet. And there is the end of our map for now. Cool. So we're gonna have to figure out why we fell through the floor right at the start. That was a little weird. We probably just put something that was supposed to be on the solid layer on the... Actually, let's fall down now and see, test out down here. Yeah, we probably just put something that was meant to be on the solid layer on the above or below layer. But this is all working, so that's good. Cool, man. This is great. This is awesome. Let's go down to our little great hall, so to speak, and wow, we just fall right down there. That works. Whoa! Something's not right here. Got lines everywhere in the background. That's wacky. Don't know what that's all about, but hopefully it's nothing, no like wild internal bug that I don't understand, but there, and that's our door where we're gonna continue our map deeper later. Let's see if we can climb out of our great hall. I'm thinking probably not. We're probably gonna have to increase the jump height of our character. But before we do that, I'd like to fix up that layer that isn't on the solid layer that should be, or those tiles anyways. See if we can get this. Yeah, we can't make that jump yet. Okay, so we're stuck down here. But anyways, point is we've got our brand new map and it's working pretty beautifully. Let's just reload that and watch what happens when we spawn. Oh! No, I have a different theory actually. I think I know why we're spawning. I think we're spawning in the wall already, so the collision never takes place. We're already over the line. So let's just reduce our Y to like 350 and see what happens. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Cool, so this is our little bedroom area. See if we can fit through the little tunnel we made. Okay, we kind of clip the wall there every time, but it works. Cool. I love exploring a freshly created map. That's always a very fun experience. See if we can make that. Sure we can. And this is someone else's bedroom. We still need to fix up. For some reason, the sky is black. Again, it should be yellow. Or maybe not. We might not have specified the sky color, actually, now that I think about it, the background color. So we might... There's little details here and there that I missed, but overall I'm thinking this is a pretty good, successful map. So let's increase his jump height really quick. For that, we're going to have to go to the MC Africa fight class. And we're going to say down here, we should have a jump height property. Let's increase that to like 450. So now we should be able to climb out of our Great Hall once. Let's see how high we jump. We hit the ceiling. So this is all obviously a little bit overkill, but yeah, here we go. Turn that down a tad. Alright, so let's try this. Let's see if we can get out of here now. I'm thinking probably. Yep. Boom, 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 and boom. Beauty. So let's try and fix up that sky color being black instead of, it should be kind of like a very saturated yellow sort of color. So let's try and fix the sky, because as you can see right now, if we reload, outside of our map is black. We want that to be yellow. Yeah, so let's do that. All right, let's investigate, shall we? Should be in our level, our base level class that we're creating. Yeah, we're setting all the depths right here. So, or wait. Let's check first if it's, it could be to do with that we're just not specifying anything. Oh no, okay, it defaults to like that yellow color. So it should be, yeah, so this is funny. Let's see what's going on here. Do we have anything that the depth is? Oh. No, that's funny, okay. Could it be because we're trying to create... Could perhaps be because we're trying to... Although actually, I think that logic is in our Africa camp level. Yeah, here we go. This is where we're creating the portal layer. So that's funny. We're not doing anything with an object layer. So I'm not too sure why the sky suddenly decided to turn black again. It likes to do that. It's like this lingering problem that always comes and goes, and I always find some solution to it, but then it always seems to come back. So I don't know like what the deal with that is, but let's just, for the sake of testing, say like BG color red. Just see if it's working at all. No, it's not. See, so that should now be red, but it's not. So let's figure this out. I'm only going to be streaming for another 12 minutes because we're closing in on midnight, which is my general sign-off time. And this stream didn't exactly go the direction I was expecting it to, but such is often the case. Yeah, so let's see. Won't be there. Anywhere it's going to be here. Yeah, because last time it worked because I set all the layers above 0. I gave them a depth above 0, and that seems to work. So let's just try increasing them all by 1 to see if maybe the background layer the background is now on the first layer depth. I don't know. 2, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3. Oh, I have a new theory. Hold on. 5. Maybe because we haven't specified enemies. Yeah, so it's still black. So that didn't work. Let's undo all that. But let's try just commenting that out and seeing if this fixes it. No. Darn. Drat. Why is this not working? Why, oh why? Oh, hold the phone. Oh no, that's what we named our layers in tiled. Is there anything else in tiled that we could have misconfigured, perhaps? Tile map key. Yeah, so tile map key is it's telling us which JSON file we want to use. Tile set name is going to be the same. Tile set image is going to be the same because we're using the same tile set. Creating the static layers. This is the only place that I imagine it might mess up, but that would just be if we named one of our layers incorrectly or something. But I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty certain that we named everything correctly. So above MC, solid, and behind MC. Yeah, that's matches our code. Behind MC, above MC, and solid. And everything else is layered correctly. Like nothing is, like our cave isn't in front of our guy, and all that stuff is fine. So yeah, this is funny. Not really sure what the deal with this is. Well, you know what, guys? I'm thinking I might call it there. I'm gonna try and I'll debug this more a little bit later, but right now we kind of seem to be going around in circles. I don't have any real leads on this issue, so for now, I think that's a good ending point. We created an entire new map for this stream, so that's working pretty well. We're ahead. Yeah, so thank you all for joining me on this adventure tonight. I'm glad we managed to create a brand new map for our game, and this is going to be our actual map for the real game. We're going to be tweaking it, of course, over time, as we always do, but this is the very first iteration of our level 1 Africa map. So that's very exciting. And yeah, remember, if you enjoyed what you watched tonight, to follow on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube, where I repost old streams and other stuff, like tutorials and vlogs and so on and so forth. And yeah, so I'm just going to switch on over to my little outro screen now, but thank you for joining me tonight, and have a great evening.